from Cuba in the 80s, comes to America. He's been on the streets. He knows a thing or two. And when he hits the streets in Miami, he really can't resist easy money.
Yeah.
And he gets in with the bad people, gets greedy, and he really does make it all the way to the top as a kingpin drug dealer.
What sucks is that I kind of feel like he's a very loyal person. Mm-hmm. But once he feels like you have crossed him, he is no longer loyal, and he will kill you.
Yeah. Like the drugs really fucked with his paranoia.
Yes.
He is honorable. It really came apart when he refused to kill a wife and children.
Yeah.
You know, because up until then, he could have got away with everything if he had just murdered the family.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, they should have just did it the old-fashioned way and shanked the dude, you know? Or what is it, sniped him?
Yeah.
And then, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
But no, they wanted a glamorous, explodey death in front of the United Nations. So.
They got too big for their britches.
Yep. They wanted to make a statement, and then everybody died.
So.
Let's start with you, Sarah. You've never seen this
Right.
movie. What did you know about this movie? Because I'm sure this is one of those movies that's so pop culture-y that you knew a lot about it without really knowing about it.
Yes. So my only real source of knowledge of this movie came from MTV Cribs. Back in the day, like early Cribs seasons, when every like rapper, ball player, basketballer, whatever, always had like big giant posters of Scarface on their wall, or they was like wearing a Scarface shirt. Like I specifically remember that, and I was just like, what is this Scarface? Like I had heard about it, but I never watched it. And it is very similar to a few other kind of movies. Obviously, they took from this movie and used it towards that. Like, one of my favorite is The Departed, and it kind of mirrors that movie a little bit. But I will say that one thing that struck me from the very beginning, even just looking at the poster, red, the use of red in this movie paints a picture. And the more red you see, the more bloodshed there is.
The deeper in he is.
And it's just like, it's kind of like him going into like psychosis or like, you know, being maddened. Or have you ever heard of that story of the woman like in the yellow room? So, I don't know I can't remember all of it, but I think it's like a poem or a story.
What's the gist
but, like,
of it?
Basically, she's stuck in this room, and she keeps seeing, like, this, like, patch of, like, yellow wallpaper, and I think at the very end, like, the whole room is covered in this yellow wallpaper. But I think it's just her going mad. And so that's kind of how this seems. Like, he's very worried about everybody, very, like, highly convinced that people are out to get him. Even like a van just sitting out there, he's like, how long has that van been there? Why is it still there? Like, he's starting to like go a little crazy, a little mad.
He's definitely doing a lot more drugs.
Yes. And it's like, you know, I didn't know exactly what this movie was about. I thought it was like more of an Italian mob movie. So when it was like about Cuba and he was Cuban, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought he was Italian. Obviously, he is Italian in other movies.
Yeah.
So that kind of took...
You just expected that.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, and his name's Antonio. And so I just assumed he was Italian. And so, like, that was different. And then, yeah, that's about it. Just, like, those were my first impressions. Just the use of red really, like, caught my eye from the very, very beginning. So, yeah. Oh, and then I put thought he was Italian.
I really love the black, red, and white. I love it. In some parts, it was a bit overdone, but it's still beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it's very 80s. Like, I think his office was the perfect ratio.
I did really like his office.
The little entryway, overall, I enjoyed it. It could have been tweaked.
Yeah.
You know, but like, I really liked the presentation of you arriving to this white palace.
Yeah.
And then you go in and it's black, white, red.
Well, I kind of wonder if he kind of got that from Frank. Because when you go into Frank's place, there's a lot of red, but there's more white and like clear and with accents of like black and gold. And I think he sees that opulence or what, how do you say that word?
Opulent?
Opulence. And he like is like, this is what rich people are like. Like, this is what I want.
His office, though, was the best.
It really was.
It was perfect.
It was awesome.
It was the right amount of gaudy. Like, that.
That's true.
That is classy gaudy. That's not even gaudy, you know? It's perfection.
Like, I don't even... so when we first meet Michelle Pfeiffer's character, what is her name?
I thought it was Evian.
I don't know.
Elvira?
Okay.
Elvira.
Elvira. When she comes down that elevator, I was like, damn, I always wanted an elevator in my house. Like, I wanted to be rich enough to have an elevator in my house.
Yeah, like that outfit that she wears as her intro outfit.
Yeah.
I've always wanted, if I have a slit dress, it's gonna be green. I want it to be backless. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a really good dress. And all I could think is her hair reminds me of Drew Barrymore from Scream. Like, the whole time, I was like, I'm getting Drew Barrymore vibes. Obviously, they probably got it from that, but...
Like, I loved all of Michelle Pfeiffer's outfits except the wedding dress.
Yeah, the wedding dress was very 80s.
Well, it's okay that it's very 80s. I just felt like...
Wasn't grand enough?
It wasn't grand enough.
Yeah.
Or simple enough. Because her outfits are very simple and tasteful.
Yeah.
Like, some of them are still very 80s, but they're still tasteful.
Yeah.
But the wedding dress, it was not gaudy 80s, and it wasn't simple. It was cheap in the middle. Like, I want to have it all.
Yeah.
You know?
So, was she married to Frank?
The Wikipedia says she was married to Frank.
Okay.
But I just thought they were dating.
So, let's just say they are married, right?
Okay.
So that man dies.
Uh-huh.
She gets all his money, right?
You would think. Depends where the money is.
Yeah. So then, when he dies, they're married, so she must get all of his money too. Like, she is sitting pretty.
It depends, because now that they're starting this whole tax thing,
True.
all of the accounts could have been frozen. So she would still have access to the cash.
Yeah.
However, after this massacre, she would have to move quick to get the other cash stashes.
Yeah, I wonder.
And I wonder how much she knows about that, though. Like, I would think he would have special stashes just for her in case shit went down.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Not $100 million rich like he probably was, but she'll be fine.
Yeah, like, I feel like...
And Frank, he couldn't even get $5 million together. You know?
Yeah, but if they sell that mansion, probably, got all that money, sell his car, sell everything.
At this point, that probably would have already been sold.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, they probably did that, and so they had all that money as well. But I bet you if she could stay away from a nose candy, she could have, like, set herself up for life.
Yeah.
And just had a great life doing whatever the hell she wanted to do.
I feel realistically she could get away with $10 million.
Yeah.
Maybe more,
Maybe
but realistically 10 at the very least.